Hey guys, it's Martin from Cobbled Folk Revival, and today's video is going to be the start of a series on fire making. And the first step to making any fire is going to be your fire prep. And what that means is just gathering all your materials and getting them ready before you start making your fire. There's an old woodsman standard called the one match fire that I first read about in the book Woodcraft and Camping by Nessmach. And basically what that is just if you build your fire the right way, you should be able to light it with one match. So the first step to fire prep is going to be choosing what wood you use. So this right here is going to be an excellent piece of firewood, and the reason why is because I can tell that it's very dry. When I grab the pieces, you saw how that one, you can see and hear how it just snaps real easily with that very distinctive dry wood sound, okay? And then the other thing is it's suspended off the ground. So when it fell off the tree that it was on, it's not lying on the ground. Wood that lies on the ground picks up water, it absorbs it, and it won't be as good. So I'm gonna grab this one and I'm gonna take it to where I'm gonna build my fire, and then we'll start prepping. Okay, so I gathered all my dry wood that was not on the ground. So you can either take dead branches off of a tree or something that's fallen down, but that got caught by another tree. And now I'm just gonna break it up. You don't need any tools for this, so you can just use your fingers. And what I'm gonna be doing is separating it out. So I'm gonna have three basic sizes of wood that I'm going for here. All right, so we're gonna call them pencil lead, which is this really small thin stuff. Pencil, okay. And there's gonna be some variation between the sizes, but pencil lead, pencil, and then something a little bigger than that. If it's bigger than a pencil, we're gonna call that thumb. Okay, so I'm gonna make 3 piles. I'm gonna put them on my bag here to keep them off the ground and keep them from getting wet while I'm working. And we're gonna get our fire ready. Okay, so I've got all my prep, and I'm gonna start making a little fire lay on the ground here. The ground is wet. I'm right by the creek, which I'm doing on purpose because I want to be able to easily put out my fire in a moment. But I'm just gonna make a quick little log cabin here, and then I'll show you my kind of guideline that I tell myself for fire prep is like a good full handful or like a double handful of each size of stick. And then you don't necessarily have to gather twigs. You can also use any wood that you have, and this is something that you can do with even like a pretty large log. Split it down and then make shavings. And I almost always make some shavings, at least some, to help catch the other wood on fire, because these are going to be nice and small and thin. The curly shape of them is going to give the fire something to climb on and grow on. And I'll tell you something else, even wet wood usually has dry wood on the inside. So I like to make some shavings pretty much every time I make my fire. And that's what I'm gonna directly light. Now, that's not saying, like, lots of times these smaller twigs, you can light them with a match. Another option, that certainly is a good thing to have with you for fire making is a lighter. You know, anything that has that open flame is going to be one of your easiest and best ways to get a fire going. And so that's why we're starting with the one match fire, and then we're going to move on in later videos. I'll show you some other ways, other ignition methods, like using flint and steel or friction. But the thing is, this is kind of like math. Every lesson that you do with fire making is going to build, and the other lessons are going to include things that you learned in previous times. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my twigs ready. So we're going to have plenty of fuel right above my shavings, and then I'm going to have my other bigger fuel stacked and ready to put on the fire. So I've got my match safe here. And we're going to get out one match. These are diamond strike anywhere matches, and you know, for a while you couldn't even get strike anywhere matches, and then when they started selling them again, I promise you, when I was younger, strike anywhere matches used to be a lot better. So two bad things about getting old is you get a longer and longer list of people that you know who have died, and matches used to be better. Okay, so there's my flame. Get it right in there and get these shavings going. So you want to get it kind of low down. Fire likes to climb. Okay. You can kind of see it's starting to climb up through the littler twigs that I've got. So I'm going to start adding just a little bit more fuel on there. And so the goal here with the smaller fuel is that if you get a lot of small things burning, each one by itself doesn't have a lot of heat, but together they have enough heat that then you get enough heat to burn the bigger, thicker pieces. Okay? So you want to leave enough room in between. As you're adding fuel, you can smother your fire. So you want to leave enough room for oxygen to get through. And don't add your fuel all at once, and don't add it too fast. Now, so here are the things about fire prep. You really can't cheat on fire prep. Take the time to get enough of your pencil, lead, pencil, and twig I always think it's a good idea to make some shavings. It really helps a lot. And then remember, you're going small to large, and fire likes to go vertical. So you can kind of see we're getting about knee-high flame here, and that's a pretty good standard for fire making. So we've got our fire. We're ready to be warm. We're ready to cook. We're ready to purify water. Fire's a good friend to have outside.